Hey, what's up, you goons? It's Jacob here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys something a little different than what you might be used to here on my channel, and that is a running background video. So basically all about me and my running career and how it all began. So before we get started, guys, if you're enjoying the content and you want to support my channel, definitely subscribe and also like the video. And having said that, guys, let's get into the video here. So it all pretty much started when I started swimming. So my parents kind of made me swim when I was 10 years old, and I swam for a couple years till I was around 12. And during that time, we would do dryland workouts on the side of swimming. So we weren't always in the pool. And in those dryland workouts, which usually involved doing running activities like suicides and little striders and sprints and stuff like that. I was always keeping up with the guy in the front, and he was quite a bit taller than me. His name was Eric, and he was pretty big. He was pretty much a fully grown dude at this point in time, and I was literally like 11 years old, and I was super short. I was like 4'11", maybe like 100 pounds. But I was keeping up with him, and after one of the practices, my coach told me that I should try running out, and that's kind of when it all started. So I think that was around 5th grade, and that's when I really started to kind of it started to really pique my interest. And so come 6th grade, I was able to set our school's mile record for my elementary school, which was like a 6:06, I think. And I also did pretty well in the other running activities we did in gym class. So I think through my gym class, I kind of learned that I wanted to do more with running. And so later that year, 6th grade, I also joined the 5K club, and that kind of prepared me for my first serious 5K. I had done one before, and I think I ran a 25, and I did it with my cousins in New Hampshire, and it was fun. But this one, I was maybe taking a little bit more serious with this club, but not really, though. I was still in 6th grade. And I did pretty well. I think I got like a 22 or a 23. And our practices, we just ran a loop around our recess area, and that was it, just like a circle, and you just keep doing it. So I'd just be running around, and yeah, it was fun. And I think that kind of sparked my passion for it. So that was kind of marking the end of my elementary school years. Alright, guys, so after 6th grade, I decided I wanted to keep running, and I was enjoying it. So I just joined our cross country team in middle school, and also our track team. And during cross country, I was our number 2 my 7th grade year, and then in the 8th grade, I moved to our number 1 spot with some decent times. I think my best for the 2 mile we did was a 12:20, and then a 5:27 in track for the mile. So I was okay. I wasn't great, but for my area, I was pretty good, and I thought I was until I went to high school and I started seeing guys who were definitely a level up from what I was used to. But that was pretty much my middle school years, and I was still a midget then. So I was 4'10", 4'11", probably around 105 or so in terms of weight. So yeah, I was a light guy, but I loved it and I wanted to keep going. So high school comes around, and same thing, I joined my school's cross country team and also the track team. And during cross country my freshman year, I was able to run an 18:55 5K as my personal best. And I also ran as our alternate for the varsity team. I was our number 8. But I think I still qualified as varsity by the end of the year. I think I started to pass up our 7th guy at the end, and I was kind of our 7th guy, even though I never ran as our 7th guy. So it was really weird, but I think it was because he was a senior, so the hierarchy. And then I also think I ran like a low 12 for the 2 mile in track, and I really only did the 2 mile, and that kind of stays true for the rest of high school as well for track. I don't know why. I just loved the 2 mile. Well, I wouldn't say loved. I always liked cross country more than track, but I still enjoyed it as the most out of all the track events. And then sophomore year comes around, and around that time, I think I ran 18 flat in the 5K, and I was still pretty short at this point in time, maybe 5'1" or 5'2". And again, nothing crazy in track. I think I might have run like a mid-11, so it wasn't anything crazy. I just wasn't a huge fan of it. And then junior year, I ran personal best 17:30 in the 5K, and at this point, I was our number 3 varsity guy in cross country behind my best friend Timmy, who you'll see in this picture here that I'm showing. And Cole on the left, he's on the very left. He's our number 2, so I was behind those guys. And you could kind of see Timmy there. He actually got pretty mauled by a tree branch when he wasn't paying attention. He turned around and nailed him when we were walking through the course. And it was at Hershey. And so he had like this gash in his eye and he raced like that. So it was pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. I think that year in junior year, I also decided to do tennis instead of track because I was not liking track much, and I just decided to do something different, and I don't really regret it. I mean, it was a good time. I enjoyed myself, um, and I wasn't good. I mean, I was at the end of our rankings, but I enjoyed it, and I just messed around and had fun. And then after that, I realized I suck at tennis. I got to get back to track. Um, so then senior year comes around, and I would kind of call this my glow up year. So I grew like 6 or 7 inches. I was like maybe 5'10", 5'11". I ended up being one of the taller guys in my friend group, who you'll see here in this next picture. I'll put up now. And that picture is from counties, our counties meet, which is kind of our big meets where usually we peaked during the season. And I ran a 16:43, I think it was. So I came in 5th place in that race. So it was a big race for me, and same for Timmy. He got 4th right in front of me, and Austin not too far behind. In 6th place. So it was nice, and we had this nice pack for our race for the first 2.5 miles before the fast guys kicked off and kind of dusted me and Timmy. But it was a really good race, and as you can see here, here's this picture. But on the left we have Zach, my friend Zach from high school, and then me, and then Austin, and then Timmy, and then Brandon, Logan, Cole. Brandon, Logan, Cole were like years before us. We were the seniors on the very left there. That was kind of my friend group. So yeah, it was a great race, and I think definitely being taller made a big difference in how I ran that year. I even ran a 16:55 at my first race of that season, so I think it had immediate impacts on my running. And I also took senior year more seriously because it was my last year of high school, and I wanted to really put it down on the field. So I think we did just that. We had a great year, and same thing for track. I finished very strong in my last race of track, and I ran a 10:05 in the 2 mile at counties, so I placed second behind my best friend Timmy, who finished a few seconds in front of me. And you'll see that in this picture here, me on the podium right in second place and Timmy in first. So it was a great race and a very good experience, and I'm glad that I finished my high school years with a great race like that. And actually, the guy who got first here DQ'd, so that's why we got first and second. We would probably should have been 2 and 3, but he got DQ'd because he was stepping over the line too many times. So sorry, Bryce. I mean, that's a price to pay for a simple mistake. I also had bronchitis that year, so that was interesting. So I didn't really have any great races until that 10:05. But yeah, that was my high school years, and I really liked my running with the team and my friends there in those high school years. It was a really enjoyable time, and I think I'm glad that it wasn't too strenuous then. I wouldn't say anything was too difficult, but I'm glad that was the case because that allowed me to not burn out into my college years in the future. So now I feel like I'm still improving and getting better and stuff like that. So now we'll move on to my college years. So college comes around, and I obviously went to the University of Pittsburgh, which might not be obvious. I might not even have told you guys that explicitly, but you've seen some of my videos where I've mentioned that I'm from Pitt. And so yeah, freshman year comes around, and I obviously wanted to join the club running team here at Pitt, and I knew they were pretty good. Usually D1 schools, big D1 schools like Pitt, have a pretty good program for the clubs, and our club was one of those. We were pretty good and had some fast guys on that team, and I think I realized I wasn't that good when I got into college and on this club team because there was a fair amount of guys faster than me, and I kind of woke me up a little bit, and I think also motivated me more. And so I started upping the mileage a little bit and getting more miles per week. So I say in high school I probably peaked around 35 miles a week at tops. Like honestly, we didn't really do much in terms of mileage. Like we would do an 8-mile long run, maybe a 10, and that was it. The rest of the days were like 5 or so miles, I think, hovering around there, maybe 6. So yeah, college comes around and I start doing 7-mile easy runs, 8-mile easy runs, and like 12+ mile long runs, which was new for me. But I think that really helped me to grow in my freshman year, and so I was able to hit some pretty good times. Definitely were improvements over my high school years. So I ran a 27:40 in the 8K at my regionals race. So, come college, it's the 8K instead of the 5K. So that was something I had to adjust to. And at first, I had no idea how to pace that. But I was able to run a pretty good time by the end of the year once I kind of figured it out. And so I did that 27:40. You'll see a picture here with me and Zach. Zach's in front of me. He's a good friend of mine who actually I live with right now, and he's a fast guy. He was our number one last year for cross country, and also ran a 16:07 at the 5K in my track season, which was held at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. So I was happy with that. I did want to go sub 16 that race because I did a 16:07 the race prior as well for the track season, but it's okay. I was still happy with the 16:07, and I know for sure I can do a sub 16 now in my junior year. So there's a picture there as well of me, and you can kind of see me there. I'll probably zoom in on myself just so you can see me better, but it was an enjoyable experience, and I really actually like the 8K distance. I think I always excel more in the longer distances, so when I went from 5K to 8K, they kind of gave me a little bit more growth there. I think I was able to kind of perform better in the 8K versus the 5K for cross country. And that same year in May, summer basically, I was able to qualify for the Boston Marathon, which I did at the York Marathon, which is where I live, and very local race. Didn't have many racers in it, maybe 300, and Jim and I did it together. You can see a picture here with Jim and I holding our medals up. So we did very well, I would say, and I placed 5th overall, and I think he was not too far off that. I ran like a 2:51:43, and he ran a 2:57 or something along those lines, but I know he could have gone faster than that for sure. He could definitely pull out like a 2:45 at this point in time, probably faster. So hey, Jim, if you're watching, shout out to you, man. That was a good race, and for my first marathon, I was very happy with that time. Couldn't be happier with it. It was a great time and a little humid, but went well. Then sophomore year comes around, and I dropped a minute off of my PR. So I ran like a 26:45 at our regionals race in Frederick, Maryland. Regionals is kind of the equivalent of counties from high school, so it was like almost the biggest race behind nationals. And you can see this cool picture here with me in the front leading some guys, and Cole's in the back there actually with the white cap. You can kind of see him there. He had a great race as well, finished about 10 seconds behind me with like a 26:55 or something along those lines. And that was raced at Utica Park, which I don't think I mentioned. So that was a great race, and honestly, coming off of 1 month of injury for that year, I hadn't been racing much at all. I think that was my first race of the season for cross country, and our second to last one for the season. So I was very happy to see that result, and we actually had camped the night before that race. We camped before that race, so I'll put a picture up here too, but that was pretty memorable for me, and I didn't think I was going to do well because we were camping the night before. I was like, oh, my sleep's going to be terrible, but it really didn't matter at the end of the day. And then I guess track came around, and I was able to run a 9:08 at the Spire Institute in Ohio, and that was the first track meet of the year. So that was during my marathon training block for the Boston Marathon. Since I had qualified for Boston, I was training for that during this time, and so I was pretty surprised to see myself pull out a 9:08 because I didn't really think I had any sort of speed in me. I was doing most of my workouts at my marathon goal pace at the time, which was around a 6 minute per mile. So that was cool to see myself throw down like that. You can see a cool picture here with a lot of my teammates here. So we have Noah in the very front there on the left, and then Tim behind the red shirt, and then behind him is Cole, and behind Cole you could see me there in the very back. So I did start off that race actually kind of in the back of the pack, and managed to make my way up into second place by the end of the race just by passing a bunch of people. So it was a very good race, and I think I closed in like a 250 something for the last K because I realized I had a lot more in me than I thought I would. So I think I could have actually did that race better. So it was surprising to see that result from marathon training. Yeah, not too long after that, the Boston Marathon got canceled because of COVID. And so, also no track races after that because of, COVID happens not long after Spire. So not really any races there. And so I opted to do a half marathon time trial. And I did this on the Lancaster Northwest River Trail, I think it's called, Lancaster County Northwest River Trail, which I've run on before. I did a long run video there, a 14-mile long run. I'll put it up here so you guys can click on that if you haven't watched it yet. But I did run a pretty great race there, I would say, for being alone, on my own. And I ran a 1:14:07, and I actually have a video on that as well, so pop that one there too. But I think that was about 9 months ago, and that was a very good race for me. I was really happy with that result, and I didn't want to do a full marathon on my own, so I thought that the half marathon was a good distance to do on my own manageably. And so yeah, I was really happy with that. And then here we are, my junior year. This is the year I'm in right now, and I would say that I trained very hard over the summer and into the school year. I think I've been taking it running even more seriously come my junior year, and so I was able to run a pretty good 2 mile of 9:29 after all my summer training, not too far into the school year, which I was very happy with. And I also did some pretty crazy workouts with a couple friends of mine, the Knicks as they're called. So maybe I'll put a workout here, just kind of demonstrating some of the stuff we did. But we did some pretty good stuff. And not long after that, I twisted my ankle pretty bad and was out for a week. Was surprised it wasn't more. All I did was slip down some stairs, but it took me out. So then I got mono, so that was fun. Took me out for like a month, and then so during that time, my training was pretty inconsistent, honestly. But I was able to pull it back together and get some good training in towards the end of the year, and got to watch Patrick's 50K throwdown, which I have a video on that, so put that up there as well. And then I was gonna do a 5K the week after that, but that we got a snowstorm and all the tracks were covered in snow. So I just decided to take off for 10 days and start my training for the Glass City Marathon, which I registered for at the end of the year. And so that training began in late December, and I am now on week 4 of my training for that marathon, and looking to hit around 55 to 60 miles for the week. So yeah, guys, that's kind of my history as a runner. I'm sorry, I know that went pretty long, but there is a lot to talk about when I've been running for 10 years. Yeah, about 10 years, I would say. So that's a lot of running, and so there's a lot to talk about. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, me talking about my running background. Maybe I went too much into detail there, but anyways, yeah, I hope it was enjoyable. And if you guys are enjoying the content, again, like I said at the beginning of the video, please do support the channel by subscribing. It's always much appreciated, and it just motivates me to get more videos out for you guys. And yeah, you guys should expect to see some pretty good content coming up here. I have a lot of video ideas, and since I don't have access to someone to film for me, I am coming up with more informative videos, so things like workouts and stuff like that, so I can talk to you guys about that. So if you want to see stuff like that, then yeah, subscribe. Definitely subscribe. And like that, smash that like button for the video, obviously. Comment down below, I want to see your guys' comments on the video, what you guys think. If you guys have any suggestions for future videos, I'm always, always welcome that. I'm happy to take one of your suggestions and make it into something more. And yeah, guys, have a good day. I hope you enjoyed.